WE4AWJ, Emmett in Bristol, Virginia. Be in and out at him.
Net control, please check in. Kilo Bravo 8, Zulu India Oscar, KB, Cross Lanes, West Virginia.
Net control, please check in. Kilo Delta 484 WMX, Ken and Quiet Lodi. Although I'm not hearing M4MT, so I don't know if something wrong with my receiver or what. Well, I'm hearing everybody else.
Yeah, I'm not hearing him either, Ken. Hey, wait.
KD4WMX. I hope everybody's hearing me okay here. I realized that I was previously using the FCS on the other room to get in, and I think because I was on 2 meters, I was squashing my own signal through wires X, so I've switched over to the local 70 centimeter machine to keep from messing up the node here. So, Ken, are you hearing me now? Adam, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Okay, that explains why nobody was hearing you. But anyway, yeah, I heard you, and you're coming in loud and clear. 84 WMX square. Okay, so we picked up Matt KA8YEZ. Yeah, I think that's what was happening. I was on the 147-000 machine, and the room transmits on that machine, so I was actually, I was going out over the repeater, but I was squashing my own signal through wires X, so I switched over to the 443, so that way I separate from it. So hopefully everybody's hearing me now. According to my little audio bar here on the YouTube channel, it seems like I'm coming through okay. Alright, so let's continue on. Any other early check-ins?
Net control, please check in. AD4, CCO, Dallas, Bristol. Net control, please check in. November 4, X-ray Romeo Delta, Ralph and Chilhowie.
Signal separated here so we can do the YouTube thing. Any other state call? N4MC, did you hear N4XRD, Ralph and Chilhowie? No, Ken, I missed him. Thanks for letting me know. I got Ralph, N4XRD, got you on the list. I may have doubled with you there. I apologize. Do we have any more early check-ins?
Net control. Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Papa Tango Todd at Elkview, West Virginia. No traffic.
All right, we got Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Todd in West Virginia. With no traffic, that's on the in and out there. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. Any other stations? Okay, I should mention too that we have a proxy check-in on YouTube, KY4TG. That's Todd in Kentucky. He usually joins us every week on YouTube. I apologize for missing last week, so since I wasn't here, I wasn't able to do the YouTube. But thanks, Jim, for picking up the net. So we could have one. All right, we got 11 people so far on early check-ins, and a few minutes before we start, is there anyone else that would like to check in early? Please call. This is N4NT with the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Fusion Net. Looking for early check-ins. Anyone that would like to get in on the list early, please call now.
NT and 4NT in the net. Check in Tom, AB8RL, Scott Depot, West Virginia.
All right, picked up AB8RL, Tom, in Scott Depot, West Virginia. Thanks for checking in. We'll be back to you for some comments. And I've got a little fella here that sometimes during the net he'll jump in and make comments and so forth. And we've been working on a little something, one of those milestones in life with him. And he's starting to take off with it this week. So you want to tell Chase? You want to tell everybody what you did? Are you gonna get shy all of a sudden? Hey, you should be pretty proud. I'm proud of you. Tell him. Say hi to everybody. Well, he's got mic fright all of a sudden. Well, he used the potty a little while ago, and he's getting good at it.
Good night.
Okay, so you want to say good night to everybody?
Yeah, good night.
Good night. Is this your bedtime?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, you have a good night, little buddy. All right, just a few more minutes to go before we officially start. Thanks, Matt, for getting the word out or making the connection there to the room change for the West Virginia folks. And glad to have you all with us tonight as usual. And is there anyone else that would like to get on the early check-in list? Please call now. All right, just under 2 minutes to showtime here. We'll take one last look for early check-in. Any early check-ins before we begin the net here?
Net Control, this is WD8L, West Delta 8 Lima, Bill in West Virginia.
All right, Bill, WD8L got you on the list. We'll be back shortly. So we got under a minute till start time. So let me get my stuff all situated here, and we'll start the net here in just a few moments. Good evening and welcome to the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Weekly Digital Fusion Net. This is Adam, N4NT, Net Control Station for this evening's net. Before we begin the net, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, so we ask that you please stand, remove any headgear, and face the American flag if you have one available. Place your hand over your heart, and veterans may render a salute and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This net meets each Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, normally in the QSO America room, 43815, with a FCS reflector, FCS4 RM 54. The Bristol Amateur Radio Club Fusion Room 61243 will serve as a backup should QSO America be down at net time. As of right now, QSO America is down. Matt N9YBK, who hosts the room, moved from Illinois to Indiana is in the process of moving. He's attempted to get the room back up and having some internet difficulties. So we will meet in the backup room this week, and depending on how that situation goes, watch out for bulletins, as we might have to meet there again next week as well. As of right now, the local Bristol 147.000 repeater, which normally stays connected to QSO America unless someone changes the node, is now defaulting to the 61243 Bristol room. So if you want to access the Bristol folks, you can go in that room, and you'll be coming out on our local repeater. Whenever possible, recordings of this net are uploaded to the Ham Radio Zone YouTube channel and or broadcast live. We are live on YouTube tonight, and we ask that you visit the net website at tcme.club for net info and links to these and other pages. This net emanates from the Tri-Cities area, consisting of counties in northeast Tennessee and the Mountain Empire of southwest Virginia. This net features connections from the Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia 147.000 and the Mirrors 443.000 White Top Mountain, Virginia C4 FM repeaters, which cover most of the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire region. Thanks to the partnership with the Friends of Amateur Radio Group allowing us to use QSO America, when that room is up, we have nodes and repeaters connected. Well, it did say Harvey, Illinois, but it'll be Indiana now, and more to come. Thank you to those who connect just for the net as well. Check us out on NetLogger, available at netlogger.org for free download to follow the net. You can also access it from any internet-capable device at K3CLR, that's Kilo 3 Charlie Lima Romeo.com, via his on-air net scraper. We welcome all amateurs to check in with us, and we ask that we're going to go ahead and take some check-ins here in a moment, but just we'll prepare everybody. If you'll have either a net logger, the net scraper, or a pen and paper handy, as we typically read the list and have each check-in pass to the other. We are starting out with 13 early check-ins, and we're going to go ahead and see if there are any other stations that would like to check in with us. Please call now. Okay, we'll go ahead and get things rolling, and then we'll see if there's some more after that. I hold in my hand the envelope as a child of four could plainly see. It has been hermetically sealed and kept in a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnall's porch until noon today. But I will, in my semi-mystic and somewhat divine way, ascertain the contents. So we'll now reveal our net topic for tonight. As always, commenting on the topic is optional, and any other comments are welcome. So tonight's topic is going to be, and I borrowed this one from another net a couple weeks ago, but what is one of the biggest blunders, mess-ups, foul-ups, whatever you want to call it, that you have made in amateur radio, something amateur radio related, the biggest goof-up, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go ahead and reset, and then I'll read the list as we have it. As a reminder, if you're following on NetLogger or NetScraper, the stations showing checked out will be skipped. And they are always, or unavailable, will be skipped. They are always welcome to come back in and make comments if they wish. Alright, so tonight's list, N4NT, my name is Adam. I'll start things off, and then I'll be passing it to my good friend Jim, KL1ZA. Thank you again, Jim, for taking over last week. And then Jim, you'll pass it to Wayne, WA4JCF. Wayne, you'll pass it to my good friend on Ole Miss, Scott, KB8ZIO. Scott, you'll pass it to Ken, KD4WMX. Ken, you'll pass it to Matt, KA8YEZ. Matt, you'll pass it to Dallas, KD4CCO. And Dallas, N4XRD. And Ralph, you'll pass it to Tom, AB8RL. And Tom, you'll pass it to our current tail gunner, which is Bill, WD8L. So let me reset again, and I'll go ahead and kick things off. Okay, well, as far as the topic goes, blunders in amateur radio, I've been in the hobby since 1992, and I've had my share. I've bought things that weren't tested very well, you know, got on the front end of things, and bought some things that are laying around useless, and this, that, and the other. Probably the biggest blunder I ever made was several years ago. I had a friend, amateur friend, that was he had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and he called me over to his house one day, and he gave me a bunch of amateur radio related items, some coax and just various things. And one thing he gave me was a Kenwood HF rig, and it was an older rig, and the ground wire, I want to say, was, and don't quote me on this, I could be mixing it up now, but it was actually white, and I took it as the hot wire because the other one was black, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember that part exactly, but what I do remember is connecting that thing up backwards, unfused, and frying that radio. And that was a huge blunder, especially given the sentimental value and everything. I kept the radio forever just because of that reason, but was never really able to operate it. So that was probably the biggest goof I made. As far as my general comments goes, I've had a ham radio related week this week. I'm working on making some changes on my station. Actually, I've got them all done. I'm just waiting on one part to come in, and it'll go in, and everything will be done. But what I'm doing is I've got about 3 HF antennas right now, and counting dual band beams and so forth, I've got about 4 or 5 VHF, UHF antennas connected to my FT991. Let me reset. And the purpose for all the VHF, UHF antennas is I have dual band beams, one polarized for FM, one for sideband, and then I've got a vertical up there too, so that way I can kind of generally see where the signals are coming from, or just use it for whatever. And so that's a lot of feed lines coming into one place. So what I did was I got remote coax switches for my HF and my VHF and UHF stuff, and reduced everything down to two feed lines coming to my 991. Then I've got a couple coming in for the Wires X room, and another mobile I've got off to the side here, 220 radio. But anyway, I've been making that change up. Got one of those window pass-through gadgets that MFJ makes, so I've got all those lines coming in now, and not having to shut windows on them or drill holes or anything like that. So made a lot of improvements around my shack. Was able to run LMR 400 to the switch boxes, which gives me the low to no loss effect, and just jumper off of that to the antennas. So, really tickled with it. And also making room to add an ALS 1306 amplifier. I could have one here sooner rather than later if I wanted to spend $600 extra, but I decided to just wait on it and save the $600, so I'm making room for it, and really beefing up probably the best setup I've ever had. And so looking forward to watching each little change go about, and any of the local folks or anybody from out of town that wants to come into town and come by and check it out and operate some, you're more than welcome to. And speaking of my local folks, I'll be passing it to Jim, KL1ZA. Okay, I'm gonna try a different radio here. Maybe I'm not going out or something. Let's see. Let me try Jim again. KL1ZA, are you still there?
This is KL1ZA. Yes, I am, Adam.
Okay, I was passing it to you there. I'm not sure if any of my comments went out or if I was being heard. Something might have happened there, but you're up next.
Copy that. I thought I was already on. I was just saying to everyone that biggest mistake that I've made is, being a dispatcher and ham radio operator, sometimes I mix the two up. There have been times where I've wanted to say Virginia Central on this end, and on the other end, I've accidentally given off my call sign over the air once. So it does happen. But I am going to go ahead and turn it over to WA4JCF. Go ahead, Wayne.
Oh, okay, Jim. KL1ZA, this is WA4JCF in the boot. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, I need a signal report. Is anybody hearing hum on my audio?
KL1ZA, this is negative. I hear no hum.
Thank you, Jim. This is Wayne again. Okay, I've noticing hum on the YouTube channel on everybody, and I've been trying to isolate it. I've streamed other videos on YouTube, and I'm not hearing the hum, but it seems like I'm hearing it. Now, the audio and the hum is both there. So, and this net logger that I have, which is an independent program, logging the net, but I'm not hearing the audio stream off of that. So, a lot of that is an 79-year-old or almost 79-year-old brain, which needs a refresh from a younger brain, but I'm stuck with this one, so I'm trying to do the best I can with it. I'm trying to figure it out. Boy, it seems like somebody invited me to their ham shack. I might just take some up on that just to see what a contemporary ham shack looks like. Anyway, appreciate that. Let's see. Probably one of the worst mistakes I've ever made. Well, no, it's not the worst. As soon as this is over, I'll think of the worst. But back during those days, ham radios had vacuum tubes. I suspect the vacuum tube is still around, especially the larger amplifiers. But there was something that we had back during those days. It was called B+. That went to the anode or the plate of the tube. And even though the device was powered off, I forgot about how these filter compactors can hold a charge, and I have discharged some of that B+ through my body accidentally. That's probably the most memorable accident. There's been others where the antennas were not hooked up right or that sort of thing. But anyway, it's probably been too many years since my ham radio days. It may tend to remember previous memories of the memory without maybe getting to the memory itself. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like having a computer with not enough cache RAM. There's disk drive out there loaded with data, but I can't cache enough of it to keep it in my conscious at the same time. So it's kind of a weird thing. I guess it all comes back to the fact that I see the need for Jesus, because I cannot figure out this world too much on my own. It's too big and I'm too small. But anyway, I've been experimenting. I've been trying to help a person with their laptop computers, and it occurred to me that I have never heard of a Chrome book, so I found just had my wrist slapped by the walkie-talkie just a minute and go recycle. Okay, I get a little beepy, apparently if I transmit too long. Now I forgot my train of thought. But anyway, oh yeah, I will probably remember the last biggest disaster in my ham radio shack probably in about an hour or two, but not right now, because of the little cache RAM upgrade my brain needs. hopefully that made sense to at least somebody. But hopefully I'll get that Chromebook. It seemed like it, for some uses, it looked like it could be useful. For one thing, if you completely crash it, apparently it's fairly easy to just recover it totally, because apparently Google keeps your configuration stored someplace. At least that's reading in the reviews of it. And I'm trying to figure out that it's like there's SD. What was that? A special RAM socket in that thing. The SD RAM. No, it's something else. I'll think about probably about a minute after the transmission's over. But I'm just trying to figure out if that's part of the computer's memory that can be expanded. Another thing about the Chromebooks is that can take a very minimal computer and run it efficiently, at least according to the reviews. So probably about Friday when I get that thing, I will try to see if I can figure it out, because it might be a good thing to recommend for people who have trouble keeping their computers running with other operating systems. So I also have a MacBook, and I noticed that those are just to see what they're like, and those are pretty good too. I think the Chromebook hopefully will be a simple one, so somebody doesn't have to worry about. Well, like I said before, I think you can recover the whole thing, like reinstalling the system. Google claims they can put it back just the way it was fairly quickly if you really crash it. So anyway, I'm into that sort of thing, something to try to keep myself mentally active if possible. And Adam, let me know when I can come to New Hampshire. I'd love to come over and look at that thing, but I guess maybe we better wait till you get all your vaccinations. I think I had my vaccinations in January, so I'm probably good there. Both shots, but maybe you get all your shots or something, and maybe whatever. Maybe you can come over there and check it out, but maybe but don't want to cause problems in the process. Okay, so maybe recycle, or maybe I'll just take a chance and hopefully I'm still transmitting. Let's see, I'm trying to find if I'm figuring this out right. I think it's KB8ZIO. Scott gets it. Uh-oh, I'm getting my wrist slapped again. So, Scott, if I'm still transmitting, go ahead and take it. This is Wayne, WA4JCF.
Thank you, Wayne. Whiskey Alpha 4 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is KB8ZIO, Scott, Cross Lanes, West Virginia. As far as blunders go, I make blunders every day. But you know what? That's what being human is all about. And as my brother keeps reminding me, that it was an amateur who built the Ark and a professional who built the Titanic. And we all see how that one went. It's been a wonderful, week here at the ranch. I got to go over and visit with my grandchildren yesterday evening and had dinner with them, and it was a wonderful day, little outing with the wife, and we get the youngest grandbaby in the morning. Looking forward to that. And as far as the blunders go, I guess the one was just recently, earlier in this summer, is, I didn't pay attention to my band plan, and I went past it, and got the DX station. That I did. But unfortunately, all I did was embarrass myself, and I beat myself up more than what, FCC would ever do. Just beat myself to death. Lost a lot of sleep over it. But, again, we all make mistakes. Well, I'll turn it over to Ken, Kilo Delta 4, Whiskey Michael X-Ray.
Well, thank you, Scott. This is Kilo Delta 4, Whiskey Mike X-Ray. Ken in Quiet Lodi, and I hope I'm getting in all right. Showing I am. That's good. Anyway, I got a couple blunders, I'm sure, that I can talk about anyway. The first one is, I'm like Jim. I run for a rescue squad, and I've made the mistake of calling up my call sign to dispatch when I was on a call. But luckily I have some good dispatchers, so they just laugh at me. And the second thing is, and you can ask my better half here, I've got more analog radios, and Carter's got liver pills, because I used to take them and give away test dice when somebody passed their test, because most people at that time were talking on analog. Well, guess what? Nobody talking on analog anymore. It's either C4 FM or DMR or some other form of digital radio. So now I've got a house full of analog radios that have nothing to do with. Never been out of the box. So my better half just looks at me and says, buy another radio and see what happens to you. But with that, I'm going to say 73 to everybody. Have a super good rest of the week. And I have the great pleasure, and I do mean pleasure, I'm going to turn it over to K88YEZ. Matt, take it away, buddy.
Well, Ken, I don't know if I can follow that up or not. You better watch out. Same great pleasure turned over to me. Get yourself in big trouble by somebody. I guess my biggest blunder, and even though it wasn't my fault, I still caught one of my blunders. Have a good friend of mine that, well, of course, I haven't talked to for probably close to a year or a lot more. He's a ham here in the area, a sightless ham. We were getting some radios repaired and dealing with a guy in Pennsylvania someplace. I forget where it was now. I still got it written down somewhere. And, you know, I sent a couple dual banders over and stuff like that, and from him and a friend of mine and mine over, and, you know, they sent them over, and he had them a couple weeks, sent them back, everything's working fine. Well, he had a Kenwood 940, which at the time was Kenwood's top-of-the-line radio that needed work on. And I sent that over for him. And the guy, repair guy told my sightless friend it would cost, I think, $350, $400, something like that to fix it. So my friend sent $350, $400, and the repair guy skipped town with the radio and the money. So we started out as good, and like I said, even though it wasn't my blunder, I still have in the back of my mind that I had part of it. But that's gonna, probably till the day I die, it's gonna be in my mind one of my biggest blunders. Only by some time. The kids connection net. Unless QSO America comes back on, if Adam's okay with it, it'll still be on the West Virginia link room, 46488 on Saturday. Haven't talked to Adam to see about who's running it this Saturday. Next Saturday is the 3rd. Neither Matt nor I can run it due to Holy Saturday church services. So hopefully somebody can pick it up then. And if anybody is a lighthouse chaser, the Northern Panhandle Amateur Radio Club will be activating West Virginia's one and only lighthouse. And no, it's not a big, majestic looking lighthouse. It is a green light and a square green placard on a 15-foot piece of tower on the south end of Wheeling Island. But it is a commissioned lighthouse, according to the Amateur Radio Lighthouse Society. So,
hasn't been officially activated. Well, it was officially activated last year, and once before that was in 2008. So we're going to activate it on April 17th. So if anybody's lighthouse chaser, look for us. I'll put the information on our QRZ page. I still have the Festival of Light special event stuff on there right now, but I gotta get that changed for the lighthouse stuff. But be under call sign W8ZQ, Whiskey 8 Zulu, Quebec. And don't forget about the Country Roads Net. Thursday, 8 p.m. on the West Virginia link room, 46488. Okay, Adam says he's off the 3rd, so hopefully you can pick it up. That'd be great. Okay, catch everybody either Thursday or Saturday or next week. And as Ken said, I have the great pleasure to pass it on to Mr. Ralph, KD4 CCO. The mic, the airwaves, the electrons, and everything else, it's all yours. Go right ahead.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is KD4 CCO, and by the way, the handle here is Dallas, not Ralph. Ralph's coming up next, so we'll get to hear Ralph yet tonight. Not much going on over here. I was just trying to figure out what was my worst blunder, and I've got so many of them. It's kind of hard to figure it out. I think the latest one that I did was field day a year or two ago, and I was operating from the home here instead of the remote location, like most everybody. Well, I think it was last year when most everybody was operating from their home, and I was operating or attempting to operate on the digital modes, and I wondered why I wasn't getting a whole lot of reception back. According to everything I could see, everything was working right on my end. Then finally I got an email from a fellow ham telling me to get my act together, that I didn't have the right format for field day. Well, I did a little research, come to find out that they did want the field day to set up to be a certain way, and I did not have it that way, and so that was probably it was my fault for sure, and I learned a lesson from that. So hopefully the next field day, if I decide to go with the digital mode again, I'll have it right. And that's it for me now. Now we'll turn it over to Ralph. NXM4XRD. Well, yeah, this is KD4 CCO.
Well, thank you there, Dallas, KD4CCO. This is N4XRD. Good evening to the group. Well, you know, I'm still a new ham. It's been 3 years now. But, you know, my blunders started almost immediately, and we won't talk about that. We'll just go right to my biggest one. So I was a ham, wasn't even a ham for a year, but I had Wires X going, and I was trying everything. And one day I got home a little early from Myrtle Beach. I thought, well, I'm going to turn on Wires X and see what's going on that big net out of Beaumont, Texas. You all know the one that has 140 nodes on it sometimes. Well, they're having their Saturday night net, and I connected to it, no problem. But after a while, and I wasn't going to talk or anything, but after a while I decided I was going to shut down the system, and I had a hard time logging out because when somebody unkeys, someone else keys up almost immediately, and you don't have that moment to disconnect properly. So I disconnected anyway somehow, thought I did it at the right time, and didn't think much of it. And later on I wanted to connect back to that net, and it kept rejecting me. I couldn't figure it out. Didn't know what was going on. After a while, I finally came to the realization I had been banned, and didn't know what I'd done wrong, but obviously I'd been banned. So I related that to some other club members, and finally Nick had mercy on me and got a hold of the operator and got me so I wasn't banned anymore. But it's still a big embarrassment to me to this day. And America Link still going strong without me. And 4XRD handing it over to AB8RL. Hello, Tom.
And for XRD in the net, AB8RL. Good evening, Ralph, and to everybody on the net here this evening. Well, let's see, wonders. Nothing's coming to mind after 53 years of ham radio, unfortunately. But I did have one last week. I announced to our local club on Tuesday night at 8:30 that we're joining this net on UHF at 9:30. Come about 20 after 9, I got a phone call, got tied up. Next thing you know, it was 10:30. And I said, my goodness, I never put the repeater onto this net for everybody to check in. So there was a blunder I had just last week. I connected tonight almost 40 minutes early, so we wouldn't miss tonight. So that's all I got to report tonight. So with that, we'll say 73 is good to everybody. Hope everybody can join the Country Roads Net, let's see, Thursday at 8 p.m. in the West Virginia link room, 46488. And I'll turn it over to Bill, locally here in Hurricane, West Virginia. WD8L in the net from AB8RL.
Hello, everybody. This is WD8L. One of the dumbest things I've ever done. I was on the net. I think I was trying to get on, and I kept talking, and nobody could hear me, and I twisted everything I could think of on the radio, and nothing happened. So after all that, I looked down and I got a hold of the wrong microphone, and I was talking to a dead piece of to a dead microphone. So that was pretty stupid, I think. But anyway, that's the only thing I've got right now, and I'll turn it over back to Net.
All right, this is N4NT. I'm back on my 991 here, so hopefully everybody's hearing me okay. I can hear myself through the Bristol repeater. But anyway, so that brings us to the bottom of the list. Are there any other stations that would like to check in with us tonight? Please call now.
This is Wayne W84JCF. I just thought of a blunder. If you're interested in having me tell about it.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Okay, there was something back when I had a little more hair than I have now. It's called packet radio. And this thing, you could digitally communicate with each other. And I'm trying to think of just how it worked, whether we talked on it was digital or whether you typed into it. But anyway, it's been a long time. And I think I may have the pocket radio unit still here someplace. But one day I came in. I don't know, I've been out for a while and came in. And well, when I approached the ham shack, opened the door where the ham shack was, I smelled this strong odor like something was about to catch fire. You know, overheated resistors and wires, that sort of thing. And I came up and found that packet radio was transmitting, and it had been transmitting a long time and completely locked up that channel until I came up there and turned it off. And somebody mentioned the fact that those radios had that defect that sometimes they'd locked up and stay on the air. So I just had to learn to leave it off when I'm not around. Anyway, this is Wayne, WA4JCF. Thanks.
All right, appreciate that, Wayne. And while I've got it on my mind here too, Matt had mentioned the Kids Connection Net, and this past Saturday, I knew at some point QSO America would go down because the other Chicago mat was moving, and I didn't realize how quick that was going to be, so wasn't able to get the word out as quickly as I'd like to have done. But I think, and I was tied up at the time, but I think Matt took care of that and had the net in the West Virginia link room because they have a YSF reflector over there too. So part of the reason we decided to go that route. So if QSO America is not back up, then just look for Kids Connection over in the West Virginia link room, and hopefully all is well with doing that. Until, because I'm not sure. With the internet problems that Chicago Mat's having, I'm not sure how quick they're going to get that back up. So we may actually have to have a few nets on backup rooms. And my thinking is, especially with given the participation we get from the West Virginia group and the fact they have the reflector, as long as you guys are okay with it, we'll certainly we'll use you guys as the backup and have that net over there. And as far as the local folks go, if you're coming in on the 443 or 147,000 repeater, well, you don't have to do anything different. We change the nodes over and get you connected to the right room. All right, let's see if there's any other check-ins before we close her up tonight. Anybody else out there want to join us? Okay, well, it sounds like all minds are clear, so don't forget about the Country Roads Net, Kids Connection Net, and I'll mention for the local folks tomorrow night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 443.000 analog for the local net over there. Hope everybody can join in on that one. I'm working the late shift this week, which a lot of times actually makes it easier for me to check into some nets. I don't forget as easy because I'm just sort of riding around downtown, and knock on wood, not a lot's going on, especially on those weekdays. So that's part of the reason I took that job. Anyway, we'll go ahead and close her up here. We want to thank everybody that took the time to check in with us tonight. Had a total number of 13 check-ins, counting our proxy check-in, and we had 3 states represented and 9 nodes connected. And just a reminder, if QSO America is not back up, look for us over here at in this room, 61243. With that, this is N4NT closing the Tri-Cities Mountain Empire Fusion Net at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, or 0210 Zulu, and saying 7-3, and good night, everybody.